Hey everyone, it's Rob Balasabas. As you know, I am now 100% fully remote. I work from home 100% of the time, full time. I know that a lot of you are now deciding or thinking about or being asked to work from home either full time or part time. So I thought I'd create a video to share some of the things that I've learned from working from home for the last little while to help you get the maximum benefit out of this opportunity to be working from home. And hopefully these tips will help you be more productive and have fun while doing it. So let's get started. I thought it'd be fun to kind of start from my living room, but I'm gonna take you to the studio and let's get into the tips there. First, you gotta start with some good coffee. Thank you, Nespresso. Thank you, Facebook, for the mug. And let's get into the studio. All right, this is a more familiar view. This is my studio. I'm gonna just put this camera down and let's get into these tips, all right? Let's go. All right, so my history with working from home has been this. When I was with Thinkific, I was there for about 4 years, and I would say I worked on average 2 to 3 days a week from home. So working from home is not new to me. Working remotely is not a new concept for me. But when I joined the TUBEBUDDY team almost 2 months ago, I went from part-time remote to full-time, 5 days a week, 100% working remotely full-time from home. So I've learned a few things to be more productive, to have a better experience here at home while working and staying connected with the team, with the community, with partners, with customers. So I want to dive into that with you today. My first tip is to show up and dress well. Get prepared to go to work. Act like you're going to the office. Take a shower, brush your teeth, shave. You'll see my head here is fully shaved. I still groom and make sure that my head is shaved. I'm presentable. Getting my haircuts, shaving my face. Get out of your pajamas. You guys saw my video earlier. I am in shorts, so I'm gonna be fully transparent. I am in shorts, but I'm presentable. So right now you're just seeing the upper half of my body. So I have a nice shirt on, clean shirt, fresh from the laundry. I've gotten out of my pajamas, my sleep clothes, so I'm ready to go to work. I feel fresh and I'm ready to hit the day running. Part of my day, actually a big part of my day, is being on camera. Whether it's interviews, live streams, YouTube lives, social media live streams, podcast interviews, I'm recording video content for our channels. I'm on video calls with customers, with partners. I'm presentable when I show up, when I come into this space. But to be fully transparent, I do wear shorts sometimes, and that's totally fine. It's all good. Dress up, get ready, do all those things to prepare, just like you would if you were gonna go to the office. The second thing is have a routine. So grab your coffee or your tea before you come into your workspace and set the scene for your workday. I feel that having a routine also triggers your body and your mind to get ready for the workday, to prepare for the work ahead, moving you from the mode of being at home and waking up in the morning to going to work, just like you would. See, when you're going to work, like a traditional office, you usually have a commute, right? You usually have to either hop on the train or the bus, or you have to get in your car and drive to work, deal with traffic, and you have that transition time to start thinking about the work that's ahead, that's waiting for you at the office or the workplace. When you're working from home, you don't have that. You literally go from your bedroom or your living room or your kitchen into your workplace, and there isn't that transition time. So the least that you can do is have some routine, grabbing coffee, getting all your things ready before you get into your dedicated workspace in your house. Number 3, let's talk about the workspace. So I mentioned that a couple times already. When you're working from home, it's really important to have a consistent space where you work at. I'm fortunate that I have a space here that's dedicated for me to work in inside of our condo. It's actually our den. It used to be our little daughter's bedroom, but we shifted some bedrooms, and so actually now I have this den as a dedicated workplace when I'm working remotely from home. So I can come in here, I can close the door, and this becomes my workplace. It's not used for anything else. I don't come in here and watch movies on the screen. The kids don't come in here to do their thing. This is just Dad's workplace. Now, if you have a small space, I can completely understand. We're a young family living in a condo. I totally understand small spaces. So if your only option to work from home is in the dining table or a small side desk in your bedroom or in the living room coffee table, I'm totally understanding your situation. If that is your scenario, I would just suggest that you remove any non-work items from that space. For example, if you're working from the dining table, just make sure you're removing bowls and plates and other random things so that you can have a clean work area that only has your work things, your laptop, your notebook, your phone, your coffee, your camera, whatever it is you need to work, that's all you need. That way you're removing any clutter and things and objects and distractions that don't need to be there, that's not gonna help you be more productive in your workday. I wanna talk about communication. Communication is very, very, very important, if not one of the most important things when it comes to working remotely from home. Communication with your team, with your clients, is very, very important. It's something you really need to consider when you're working from home remotely full-time. I would urge you to strive to over-communicate. Have one central platform for communication for your entire team, whether it is Skype or Slack or Facebook Workplace, whatever it is, have one central platform for all the communication for your team. Try to have as much of your conversation inside of that platform so that it is transparent for the entire team. Have one main chat group for everyone on the team. Then from there, look at creating sub-teams for marketing, for finance, for support, for admin, for the developers. That way you can have specific discussions around those topics within those team members without having to clutter the chat for other team members that may not need to be involved in those discussions. So developers may not need to be in the conversations for the marketing team. So again, just have one main chat group for all the team members and then sub-chat groups for different teams dedicated to their specific tasks and roles. As much as you can, try to have your conversations in those chat groups and only break into one-on-one private conversations in the chat when absolutely necessary. This will help you be more productive because it will help you to not have to repeat yourself multiple times in different chat threads. One tip for focus and removing distractions, you may want to mute it or turn off the notifications during certain periods of the day so that you can actually get some work done and remove any distractions. Otherwise, you may find yourself getting a lot of notifications coming at you and popping out in your sidebars. But the most important thing is that you communicate this expectation with your team, that you let them know that, hey, I am only checking the chats every morning at 9 a.m. and also after lunch, and then maybe once before you call it a day. That being said, there needs to be an avenue that people can reach you if it is absolutely urgent. So whether that's by email or by text message or by some other form of communication that they can reach you when you are working remotely from home. Also, when it comes to communication, I want to talk a little bit about equipment. You're going to be doing a lot of video calls and voice calls with your team. So make sure that you have a nice camera, a nice webcam. Most laptops now will come with a very nice webcam that has good quality, but if you don't, you can look at purchasing something like a Logitech C290. That's a very popular external webcam that you can buy. And more importantly, it is really important to buy, I'm looking for my headphones, to buy something that's really good for audio. And so I use one of these. These are called Hoppy plugs. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. You can't really see it. Let me see. There it is. Hoppy plugs. I picked these up from Best Buy for like $25, $30 and I love them. They work so good. The audio quality is really good. It's great for phone calls. It's great for podcast interviews, for live streams. I use them for the Creators Corner live streams that I do on the TUBEBUDDY channel on a weekly basis. So get something good for your audio. The reality is when you're on a video call, you can always turn off the video. So if your video camera is not performing as well as you'd like or the quality isn't that good, then you can always turn off the video, but you can't turn off the audio or else there is no point for the call. So it's really important to get something good for audio. So I urge you, go and invest in good video and audio equipment so that you're gonna be pleasant and ready to talk to when you are going on those team calls and calls with customers and partners. All right, now let's talk about time management. First, block out your calendar for meetings and calls. You may actually want to give view access to your calendar to your team members so that they can see when you're available for calls. Now, this may sound a little bit crazy, but it actually will save you a lot of time. You'll still have privacy because most calendar tools out there, including Google Calendar, allows you to share your calendar and when you're available, when you're not available. But at the same time, it doesn't allow that person to see what the details are of the events on your calendar. All they will see is that you're unavailable or available for certain times of the day. Now, going back to giving your team access to your calendar as view only, it allows them to go to your calendar and see when you're available and then book that meeting with you without you having to go back and forth and saying, oh, how's Tuesday at 11 a.m. or Wednesday at 8 a.m. You can just simply tell them, go to my calendar, grab 15 minutes, and book a time with me. And then that's it. As long as your calendar is up to date, then your time is protected. But at the same time, you can still be very efficient with that whole time management and meeting scheduling aspect of your day. Also, when it comes to time management, schedule in your self-care time. Schedule in your lunch breaks, schedule in your gym time, your fitness time. It's very easy to work throughout the entire day and not come up for air. So making sure that you block out time for your self-care time, just like you would with your work time and your calls and meetings, is very, very important when you're working from home remotely. So block out time to take lunch breaks, to go for a walk, to go to the gym, or just simply to call your partner or your spouse in the middle of the day to check in. Also, this is really simple, but it's really easy to ignore. But when you go for lunch, step away from your workspace. Even if you're just gonna make a sandwich at home and you plan to eat at home. Now, if you work in the dining table, you're gonna make lunch and then you're gonna go back to your workspace, you're not really able to disconnect and take an actual break from work. So step away. So if you're working from the dining table, then go eat lunch on the patio or eat lunch in the living room so that you can properly disconnect for a little bit during the middle of your day. And I've found from my own experience that when I do that, I actually come back to work with a new perspective, a different way of looking at the tasks that I'm working on, and actually come up with some better ideas rather than just always being immersed in my work area, even when I'm having lunch. So step away from your desk or from your work area when you're having lunch and then come back a little bit more recharged than you left. Also, a little tip, use the Pomodoro Tomato app. If you're not familiar with this, it might sound really funny, but there are these things called tomato apps. Pomodoro is this thing where basically you work for a little bit and then it forces you to go and take a break. There's actually Chrome extensions as well if you're using Chrome that you can install to actually pop up and tell you, hey, it's time to take a break. So what I usually do is I'll set my Pomodoro app to about 20 to 25 minutes of work, heads down time. An alarm will go off, a little pop-up will go off on my screen to take a break. It'll then start a 5-minute countdown for me to go grab coffee, grab water, take a break, get a snack, and then come back after 5 minutes and then do another 20 to 25 minutes of heads down time again. And I just do that all day throughout the whole day. That way it forces me to get up. When you're working from home and there's nobody else to kind of come by your desk and say hello or distract you, it can be very easy to basically work throughout the entire day and not take a break. There's been some days when I started working from home that I didn't know that it was already like 2 or 3 p.m. and I've just been heads down for the entire day. I missed lunch, I didn't take a break, I didn't go for a walk, I didn't do anything else but just heads down on my laptop. So the Pomodoro app is going to be a really helpful tool for you if you need that gentle reminder to take a break throughout your day. Now I want to talk about community, because whether or not you're an extrovert or an introvert or whatever your Enneagram says, everybody needs some type of interaction with other people. I don't know if that's scientific, that's just what I believe. As a remote worker, working full-time 100% from home, it might be very hard to find another remote worker in your city that you can relate to, that you can connect with, that can understand what you do for work. I would urge you to find a community community online. Find a group of people outside of your work team that also works remotely that can act as your social and support system throughout the day and throughout the week. This community can also become a bit of your social circle. You get to know them, you get to know their families, you get to know all the things about them. An easy place to look is Facebook. There's lots of Facebook groups out there for people that are working remotely. Shameless plug, if you're looking for a community online, you're more than welcome to join the Content Creators Cafe. It's totally free. Just find the link in the description and we'd love to have you. And beyond the online community, I do urge you to go check out some of the in-person events, the meetups, the networking events that are happening in your city. You can find a lot of these on meetup.com or Eventbrite or even Facebook events. There's lots of events happening, and just plug in and put yourself out there. Even if you're an introvert. For me, I'm blessed to be able to go to conferences and attend meetups as part of my work. I enjoy it. I love meeting people face to face, so it's probably one of my favorite parts of my work. There's some days when I attend conferences or meetups or networking events that it really doesn't even feel like work for me. So it's natural for me to seek out these things. But if you're an introvert or you're not a huge fan of big gatherings like this, then I urge you to at least just put yourself out there, once every couple months, just so that you can still have that human interaction with other people face to face. Let's talk about music. This is a big part of my work day here, working from home. Remotely is music. I can't really work when there's vocals. There's people saying words in songs when I'm working. So I tend to lean on jazz, smooth jazz specifically. A lot of people will call it elevator music. For me, I find smooth jazz to be the thing that makes me so productive when I'm working. I tend to zone out and just be really focused when I'm listening to that type of music. So I would love for you to share a playlist or a link to a YouTube video or a Spotify playlist or something that helps you focus when you're working from home. Share the link in the comments so that we can all check it out. That would be awesome. I want to talk really quickly for about a minute and a half to all the parents, my fellow remote workers that have kids. Working from home remotely can be a real struggle when you have kids. They want to come and hang out with you. They want to say hello. They want to check out what you're working on. So my tip is to set boundaries. Me and my wife, we have 2 small kids. Not so small anymore. One is 10, one is 6. They're both in school. So the majority of the day, from about 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m., they're at school, which allows me to work and be productive and be heads down doing my thing and have the whole house to myself for the most part. My wife is here as well. I am very productive during those times. Come 3 o'clock, my kids get home from school. But what we've done is that we've had discussions with them ahead of time. We've explained to them that dad is working, that this is a work day for dad, and that I'm gonna be working until about 5 or 6 p.m. When I used to work in an office, I would get home around 6 p.m. anyway. So that is the boundary that we've set. This is not to say that around 3 o'clock, I try not to have any calls or any meetings so that I can poke my head out and hang out for a little bit, welcome them home, give them a hug, ask how their day's going, and then retreat back into my home office. Let's face it, one of the best perks of working from home is being able to spend time with your family. So don't shy away from it. It's not a burden. As long as you set boundaries with your family, then they will be able to understand. There will be a very smooth flow of your day where you have your space to work and your family still has space to live in the home that you're working in. So I hope that helps all the parents out there. So let's get into the next tip. Have a cutoff time. One of the perks of being able to work from home remotely full-time is that you're able to be flexible with your schedule. But one of the disadvantages of working from home full-time remotely is exactly that, being able to set your own schedule. At the end of the day, it's always really tempting to say 15 more minutes or I just gotta finish this one last task. The truth of the matter is, work will never be done. There's always something you can do. There's always another task. There's always another 10 minutes that you can spend on this project. There's always something else you can get ahead of for tomorrow. And before you know it, it's 9 p.m. Your family's had dinner without you. Your kids are already in bed. You didn't get to say goodnight. This might be a very personal experience for me. This is one of the hard lessons that I had to learn in my early days when working from home, is that you do need to set a cutoff time to your workday. I always try to cut off at 6 p.m. at the end of the day. That way, I can leave my work and join the family for dinner as much as possible. You also want to be a person of your word. You also want to make sure that you respect what the promises are that you're giving to your family to re-engage with them at the end of the day. You don't want work to be seen by your family as a burden that takes you away from them all day, all week. So you want to make sure that you do have a cutoff time so that you can re-engage with your family, leave work, just like you would if you were in an office. You would leave work at around 6 or 5 or whatever time you would leave work. And then you can spend time with your family, your partner. You can do something fun for yourself. Again, going back to self-care. If you've got activities or a sports league that you're gonna go to or something, you wanna make sure that there is a cutoff time to your work at the end of the day so that you can have a work-life balance that is sustainable, or else it's gonna be a really big burden for you to be working from home. Otherwise, you're not gonna know the difference between working and personal time. Every now and then, work from a different location, maybe a coffee shop, set up there for about half a day or so. Try to time it where you don't have any meetings or calls so that you don't have to worry about noise and distractions and things like that. Maybe even invite a friend to grab coffee or lunch or breakfast with you. That way you can kind of do a 2-for-1. You can spend time with a friend, catch up, and then stay there and work the rest of the day. Listen, working from home has been one of the best things that has happened to me and my work-life balance. I hope that you experience the same thing as well. This is an awesome opportunity if you do have the opportunity to work from home remotely, full-time, even part-time. It's an awesome opportunity to be more productive and spend more time with your family. For the most part, you're cutting out at least an hour, maybe 2 hours in my case, of commuting to work and back alone. So I really hope that this video has been helpful for you. I know I didn't cover every single tip available, so if you have a tip that you'd like to share about working remotely from home, share it in the comments so that our community can learn from you as well. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.